Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha, and today we're going to take a wonderful journey into the heart of everyday English, the kind of English that makes conversations flow naturally, that makes you sound confident, and helps you connect with people in real-life situations. In this lesson, we'll explore 101 powerful phrases that you can use in your daily life to boost your fluency and sound more like a native speaker. We'll not only go through each phrase, but also practice them in different situations so you can hear them, repeat them, and make them part of your natural speech. By the end of this session, you'll be ready to bring these phrases into your conversations right away. So, let's begin. Every conversation you have in English is made up of small building blocks. These building blocks are the phrases you use every day. They are like the threads that weave your sentences together. Without them, your speech might feel broken or incomplete, but with them, your English will sound smooth, natural, and confident. Today, we'll take each phrase, bring it to life, and make sure you feel comfortable using it. Let's start with something simple, but powerful. Imagine meeting someone in the morning. Instead of just saying, "Hello," you can say, "Hey, how's your morning going?" This feels warmer, more personal, and it invites the other person to share something about their day. Let's practice together. I say, "Hey, how's your morning going?" And now you repeat after me, "Hey, how's your morning going?" Good. Feel the rhythm, the intonation. It's not rushed. It flows naturally. Another common moment in daily life is when you want to agree with someone in a friendly way. Instead of only saying yes, you could say, "Absolutely, I agree with you," or "I couldn't agree more." Try saying it with me. Absolutely, I agree with you. Good. And now, I couldn't agree more. Notice how these phrases add strength to your agreement. They make your response feel alive and confident. When you're asking for help, you don't need to make it sound too formal. If you're in a shop, instead of saying, "Help me," or "I need help," you could say, "Could you give me a hand with this?" It's friendly, and it sounds very natural. Let's repeat together. Could you give me a hand with this? One more time. Could you give me a hand with this? You can also use it with friends when you need help moving something, fixing something, or even when you're working on a project. There are times when you want to show that you understand someone instead of just nodding or saying okay. You could say, "I see what you mean," or "I get your point." Let's say these together. I see what you mean. I get your point. Good. These phrases show the listener that you are actively paying attention and that their opinion matters to you. Now, imagine you are running a little late and you want to apologize. You could say, "Sorry for keeping you waiting," or "Thanks for waiting for me." These are polite, warm, and they show appreciation. Let's try them together. Sorry for keeping you waiting, and thanks for waiting for me. You can use them at work, in social situations, or even when meeting a friend at a cafe. Sometimes, you might need to interrupt politely. Instead of jumping straight into your question, you can say, Sorry to bother you, but, or, do you have a moment? Let's practice that. Sorry to bother you, but, and, do you have a moment? They sway. You sound considerate and respectful. When you are finishing a conversation, instead of only saying goodbye, you can make it warmer by saying, "It was great talking to you," or "I'll talk to you soon." Let's repeat. It was great talking to you. I'll talk to you soon. Using these makes your goodbye sound more personal and friendly in many situations. Showing gratitude is key. Instead of only saying, "Thank you," you could say, "Thanks. I really appreciate it." Or, "That means a lot to me." Let's practice. Thanks. I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me. Notice how these expressions add emotion and sincerity to your thanks. Now, let's make this even more real. Imagine we are role-playing a small conversation. I'll be the person you're talking to, and you respond with the phrases we've just practiced. Ready? I say, "Hey, how's your morning going?" You respond, "Good." I say, "Could you give me a hand with this box?" You respond, "Great." I say, "Thanks for waiting for me." You respond with a friendly phrase to close the conversation. Well done. The more you practice these little moments, the more natural they become, and soon, you won't even have to think about which phrase to use. It will simply flow out of your mouth. In conversations, sometimes you need to buy yourself a little time before answering. Instead of just pausing awkwardly, you can use natural fillers that sound confident. For example, you can say, "Well, let me think about that for a moment." Or, "That's a good question." These give you a second to prepare your answer without sounding lost. Let's repeat. "Well, let me think about that for a moment." And, "That's a good question." You can use these when someone asks you something unexpected, at work, in an interview, or in casual talk. Another useful phrase comes when you want to change the topic politely. You could say, "By the way, speaking of," and then introduce the new topic. Or you could say, "That reminds me," followed by your point. Let's try these together. By the way, speaking of, that reminds me. These are perfect for making your conversations flow smoothly from one subject to another. When you want to offer something to someone, instead of just saying, "Do you want this?" you can sound more friendly and polite by saying, "Would you like some?" Or, "Can I get you something?" Let's practice. Would you like some? Can I get you something? You can use these at home with guests, at a restaurant, or even in casual situations with friends. Sometimes you'll need to check if someone understands what you mean. Instead of just asking, "Do you understand?" you can say, "Does that make sense?" Or, "Are you with me so far?" Let's say them. Does that make sense? Are you with me so far? These are softer and more engaging than the direct, "Do you understand?" which can sound a little too formal or even unfriendly. When you want to share good news, you can start with something that builds excitement Instead of just stating the fact, you can say, "Guess what?" or "You won't believe this." These invite the listener to pay attention and be curious. Let's try them. Guess what? You won't believe this. Imagine saying these when you've got something fun to tell your friend, in moments when you want to politely say no, but without sounding harsh. You can use phrases like, "I'm afraid I can't," or "I'd love to, but I'm busy right now." Repeat after me. "I'm afraid I can't. I'd love to, but I'm busy right now." These help you decline an offer without closing the door on future opportunities. You might also need to express that you're not sure about something. Instead of just saying, "I don't know," you can say, "I'm not sure, but I can find out," or "Let me check and get back to you." Let's try that. "I'm not sure, but I can find out. Let me check and get back to you." These show willingness to help. Now, let's do a mini practice scenario. I'll set the scene, and you'll respond using these phrases. I say, "Guess what? I just got a promotion at work." You respond with a natural phrase of excitement. "Good." I say, "Do you have a moment to help me move this chair?" You respond politely, either agreeing or declining in a kind way. Well done. When you use these phrases regularly, you'll notice that your speech starts to sound more colorful, more inviting, and more natural. The people you speak to will enjoy the flow of conversation with you, and you'll feel more confident every time. There are also times in daily life when you need to check in on someone. Instead of simply saying, "Are you okay?" which can sometimes sound too serious, you could use softer phrases like, "How are you holding up?" or "How's everything going with you?" These sound caring and genuine. Let's practice together. How are you holding up? How's everything going with you? Notice how these make the person feel you truly care. When you want to encourage someone, instead of only saying "good job," you can make it warmer with "you're doing great," or "keep it up, you're almost there." Repeat with me. You're doing great. Keep it up, you're almost there. These phrases not only acknowledge the person's effort, but also motivate them to keep going. In casual conversation, showing interest is very important. Instead of a plain, "Really," you could say, "Oh, that's interesting," or "Tell me more about that." Let's try them. "Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that." They open the door for the other person to share more, which helps you have longer and more engaging conversations. When someone thanks you, instead of just saying, "You're welcome," you could add variety by saying, "No problem at all," or "anytime." These sound relaxed and friendly. Let's practice. No problem. At all. Anytime. The more variety you have in your responses, the more natural you sound. There are moments when you need to express that you're happy to help. Instead of a simple "glad to help," you could say, "I'm happy I could help," or "I'm always here if you need anything." Repeat after me. I'm happy I could help. I'm always here if you need anything. These make your kindness feel even warmer. Sometimes, you want to ask for someone's opinion in a polite and friendly way. Instead of saying, "What do you think?" you could say, "I'd love to hear your thoughts on this," or "What's your take on it?" Let's try them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What's your take on it? These make the other person feel valued in the conversation. When something surprises you, instead of just saying, wow, you can say, that's incredible, or I wasn't expecting that. Let's repeat. That's incredible. I wasn't expecting that. These give your reaction more personality and emotion. Now, let's put these into a short practice role play. I say, I just finished my first marathon. You respond with an enthusiastic phrase. Good. I say, thank you for helping me prepare for it. You respond with a warm, friendly phrase. Excellent. I say, I have some ideas for a new project. You respond with an interest-boosting phrase. Perfect. Using a variety of phrases like these keeps your speech fresh and interesting. It makes you sound like someone who truly connects with people. And that's the heart of speaking like a native. When you're meeting someone for the first time, instead of only saying, nice to meet you, you can make it warmer by saying, it's a pleasure to meet you, or I've heard so much about you. Repeat with me. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you. These make the introduction feel more genuine and memorable. If you run into someone you already know, but haven't seen for a while, instead of just saying, hi, you can say, it's been a while, or long time no see. Let's try them. It's been a while. Long time no see. These instantly add a friendly, familiar feeling to the moment. When you want to check if someone is free to talk or meet, instead of saying, are you free? You can say, is now a good time? Or, do you have a moment to talk? Repeat after me. Is now a good time? Do you have a moment to talk? These sound polite and respectful of the other person's time. Sometimes you want to soften a suggestion. Instead of saying, you should do this, you can say, maybe you could try. Or, have you thought about? Let's practice. Maybe you could try. Have you thought about? These make your advice sound helpful rather than pushy. When you want to show you're listening, small phrases can make a big difference. Instead of staying silent, you can say, I see, or I get it. Try them with me. I see. I get it. These little signals encourage the speaker to continue. If you need someone to repeat something, instead of only saying, what? You can use softer, more natural options like, sorry, could you say that again? Or, I didn't catch that. Let's say them. Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't catch that. These keep the tone friendly and polite. When you want to express excitement for future plans, instead of only saying, I'm excited, you can add variety with, I'm really looking forward to it, or, I can't wait. Let's try them. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. These add warmth and anticipation to your words. Now, let's imagine a little role play. I say, it's been such a long time since we met. You respond with a friendly greeting phrase. Good, I say. I've been thinking of trying a new hobby. You respond with a soft suggestion phrase. Well done, I say. I'm visiting your city next month. You respond with an excited phrase. Excellent. The more you bring these phrases into real conversations, the more you'll notice your speech becoming smoother, warmer, and more engaging. You won't just be speaking English, you'll be connecting with people in English, and that is the real goal. When you want to politely ask for permission, instead of just saying, "Can I?" you can make it more natural with, "Would it be all right if I?" or, "Do you mind if I?" Repeat after me. Would it be all right if I? Do you mind if I? These sound softer and more respectful in any situation. If you're offering to help someone, instead of saying, "I can help you," you could say, "Would you like me to give you a hand?" Or, "Want me to take care of that for you?" Let's practice. Would you like me to give you a hand? Want me to take care of that for you? These sound generous and approachable. When you need to confirm details, instead of only asking, "Is that right?" you can say, "Just to make sure I've got this correct." Or, "So, if I understand you right," repeat with me, "Just to make sure I've got this correct." So, if I understand you right. These phrases keep the tone friendly while clarifying information. Sometimes you'll want to give someone time to speak. Instead of jumping in with your own thoughts, you can use short prompts like, "Go on," or, "I'm listening. Try them." Go on. I'm listening. These encourage the other person to share more. When you want to share your own opinion politely, instead of saying, "I think," you could say, "In my opinion," or, "The way I see it." Let's say them together. In my opinion, the way I see it. These give your opinion a natural introduction in conversation. If someone is going through a hard time, instead of only saying, "I'm sorry," you can say, "I'm here for you," or, "That must be really hard for you." Let's practice. I'm here for you. That must be really hard for you. These show deeper empathy and emotional support. So when you're complimenting someone, instead of only saying, "Good work," you can use, "You've done an amazing job," or, "I'm really impressed with this." Repeat with me. You've done an amazing job. I'm really impressed with this. Compliments like these feel more genuine and specific. Now let's put a few into a quick role play. I say, "Do you mind if I join your table?" You respond politely. Good. I say, "I've been having a tough week at work." You respond with empathy. Nice. I say, "I finally finished the big project." You respond with a warm compliment. Excellent. The more you mix these into everyday conversations, the more natural and native-like your English will sound. You'll not only speak clearly, but also connect emotionally with the people around you. When you need to suggest meeting up with someone, instead of saying, "Let's meet," you can make it warmer with, "We should catch up sometime," or, "Let's get together soon." Repeat after me. We should catch up sometime. Let's get together soon. These make the invitation sound casual and friendly. If you want to encourage someone to try something new, instead of just saying, "You should try this," you could say, "I think you'd really enjoy this," or, "Give it a go. You might love it." Let's say them. I think you'd really enjoy this. Give it a go. You might love it. These add positivity and enthusiasm to your suggestion. When you're surprised but happy, instead of only saying that's great, you can say, that's wonderful news, or I'm so happy for you. Repeat with me. That's wonderful news. I'm so happy for you. These phrases make your joy for the other person more expressive. If you need to ask for more details, instead of tell me more, you can use, could you explain a bit more? Or, can you walk me through that? Try them. Could you explain a bit more? Can you walk me through that? These sound curious, but polite. When you want to politely show that you understand a situation is difficult, you could say, I can see why that would be frustrating, or, that sounds like a challenge. Repeat after me. I can see why that would be frustrating. That sounds like a challenge. These show understanding without judgment. Sometimes you'll want to show appreciation for someone's effort. Instead of, thanks for your help, you can say, thanks for going out of your way to do this. Or, I really value your effort. Let's practice. Thanks for going out of your way to do this. I really value your effort. These make your thanks feel deeper and more personal. When you're wrapping up a meeting or conversation, instead of just saying, okay, bye, you can say, let's stay in touch, or I'll follow up with you soon. Repeat, let's stay in touch. I'll follow up with you soon. These leave a positive, connected feeling at the end of your talk. Now, let's do a short practice role play. I say, I just got a new job offer. You respond with a happy, supportive phrase. Good, I say. I've been trying to learn guitar. You respond with an encouraging suggestion. Nice, I say. Thanks for helping me move last weekend. You respond with a deep appreciation phrase. Excellent. Every time you practice like this, you're not just memorizing phrases, you're training your brain to react naturally in English. So when the real conversation happens, the words will flow without hesitation. When you want to make someone feel welcome, instead of just saying, come in, you could say, make yourself at home, or feel free to get comfortable. Repeat after me. Make yourself at home. Feel free to get comfortable. These create an inviting, relaxed atmosphere. If you need to ask someone to wait, instead of saying wait, you can soften it with, just a moment, please, or hang on a second. Let's try them. Just a moment, please. Hang on a second. These keep your tone polite and friendly when you want to check if someone is ready. You could say, are you all set? Or, shall we get started? Repeat after me. Are you all set? Shall we get started? These sound natural, whether you're in a meeting, at home, or out with friends. If you need to show understanding for someone's situation, you could say, I totally get where you're coming from, or I understand how you feel. Let's practice. I totally get where you're coming from. I understand how you feel. These make your empathy clear. When you're making a polite request, instead of do this for me, you can use, would you mind helping me with this? Or, could I ask you for a favor? Repeat with me. Would you mind helping me with this? Could I ask you for a favor? These sound soft and respectful. If you need to give someone good news, you could say, I've got something exciting to tell you. Or, I have some great news. Let's say them. I've got something exciting to tell you. I have some great news. These build anticipation and positivity. When you want to politely end a conversation, but keep it friendly, you could say, I should let you get back to your day, or I'll let you go for now. Repeat, I should let you get back to your day. I'll let you go for now. These are perfect for closing a chat without sounding abrupt. Now, let's do a quick practice scenario. I say, thanks for coming over. You respond with a warm, welcoming phrase. Good, I say. I'm just finishing up an email. You respond with a polite, waiting phrase. Nice, I say. I have some great news. You respond with an enthusiastic reaction. Excellent. The beauty of these everyday phrases is that they don't just improve your vocabulary, they improve your relationships. The more comfortable you are with these expressions, the more confident and connected you will feel in every interaction. When you want to politely ask someone to repeat something in a noisy place, instead of just shouting, "What?" you can use, "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?" Or, "Could you repeat that a little louder for me?" Repeat after me. "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? Could you repeat that a little louder for me?" These sound much more polite and show you're genuinely interested in understanding. If you're about to share an opinion that might be different from someone else's, you could start with, "If you don't mind me saying," or, "I see it a little differently." Let's practice. If you don't mind me saying, I see it a little differently. These keep the conversation respectful, even if you disagree. When you want to thank someone for their patience, you could say, "Thanks for waiting. I appreciate it." Or, "Thanks for bearing with me." Try them. Thanks for waiting. I appreciate it. Thanks for bearing with me. These are great in both professional and casual settings. If you need to ask for someone's opinion in the middle of a discussion, instead of, "What do you think?" you could say, "I'd like to hear your perspective on this." Or, "What's your view?" Repeat, "I'd like to hear your perspective on this." What's your view? These sound more thoughtful and engaging. Sometimes you want to show that you understand a problem someone is facing. You can say, "That must be tough," or, "That's not easy to deal with." Let's say them. That must be tough. That's not easy to deal with. These phrases acknowledge the difficulty without giving unwanted advice. When you want to invite someone politely, instead of, "Come with me," you could say, "Would you like to join me?" Or, "How about coming along?" Try them. Would you like to join me? How about coming along? These make the invitation feel warmer and more optional. If you need to tell someone you're busy, you can soften it with, "I'm tied up right now, but I can get back to you later." Or, "I'm in the middle of something. Can we talk soon?" Repeat after me. "I'm tied up right now, but I can get back to you later." "I'm in the middle of something. Can we talk soon?" These let the person know you're not ignoring them. You're simply postponing. Let's do a short role play to bring these to life. I say, "I have a different view on that project." You respond with a respectful disagreement phrase. "Good," I say. "Sorry, could you say that again?" You respond with a clear, polite repeat. "Nice," I say. "Would you like to join me for lunch?" You respond warmly. Excellent. By practicing these small, everyday moments, you're training your reflexes in English. The more you practice, the less you'll have to think, and the more natural your speech will feel. When you want to start a casual conversation, instead of jumping straight into your main topic, you can warm things up by saying, "How's your day been so far?" Or, "How have you been keeping?" Repeat after me. How's your day been so far? How have you been keeping? These create a friendly, relaxed atmosphere before moving into more serious topics. If you need to politely get someone's attention, instead of saying "hey" or "listen," you could say, "Excuse me, can I just say something?" Or, "Sorry to interrupt, but let's try them." Excuse me, can I just say something? Sorry to interrupt, but these show respect and make it easier for the other person to listen to you. When you want to show genuine happiness for someone's success, you can say, "I'm thrilled for you," or "That's so exciting for you." Repeat with me, "I'm thrilled for you." That's so exciting for you. These make your congratulations more heartfelt and personal. If you want to politely ask for advice, instead of, "What should I do?" you can say, "I'd appreciate your advice on this," or, "Could you share your thoughts with me?" Let's practice. "I'd appreciate your advice on this." Repeat after me. "I'd love to, but I have other plans." "That sounds great, but I won't be able to make it this time." These leave the door open for future invitations. If you need to express gratitude for someone's effort, instead of simply saying, "Thanks," you can say, "I really appreciate the time you've taken for this," or, "I'm so grateful for your help. Let's try them." "I really appreciate the time you've taken for this. I'm so grateful for your help." These sound heartfelt and sincere. When you want to express curiosity, instead of only saying, "Why?" you could say, "I'm curious. What made you decide that?" Or, "I'd like to know more about your reason." Repeat with me. "I'm curious. What made you decide that?" "I'd like to know more about your reason." These invite deeper conversation. If you want to reassure someone, instead of just saying, "It's fine," you could say, "Don't worry, everything's under control." Or, "It's all taken care of. You can relax." Let's practice. Don't worry, everything's under control. It's all taken care of. You can relax. These give comfort and confidence to the listener. When you want to politely ask someone to do something soon, instead of, "Do it now," you can say, "When you get a chance, could you?" Or, "As soon as you can, please." Try them. When you get a chance, could you? As soon as you can, please. These are polite and less commanding. If you're agreeing, but want to add to the conversation, you can say, "Exactly, and I'd also add," or, "I completely agree," plus, repeat. Exactly, and I'd also add, "I completely agree," plus. This keeps the conversation flowing, instead of stopping at agreement. When you need to gently disagree, instead of, "I don't agree," you could say, "I see your point, but I have a different view," or, "That's interesting, but I think," Let's say them. I see your point, but I have a different view. That's interesting, but I think these maintain respect. While expressing your perspective, let's do a quick role play. I say, would you like to come to dinner tomorrow? You respond with a polite decline. Good. I say, thanks for helping me move those boxes. You respond with a heartfelt thank you phrase. Nice. I say, it's okay. You can relax now. You respond with a reassuring phrase. Excellent. By building these kinds of sentences into your speech, you'll sound natural, caring, and confident, just like a native speaker in everyday life. When you want to make someone feel included in a group conversation, instead of just continuing to talk with others, you could say, "What do you think about this?" Or, "We'd love to hear your opinion." Repeat after me. What do you think about this? We'd love to hear your opinion. These simple phrases pull people in and make them feel valued. If you're offering someone a choice, instead of only saying, "Which one?" you could say, "Which would you prefer?" Or, "Which one works best for you?" Let's try them. Which would you prefer? Which one works best for you? These sound more polite and flexible. When you want to check in on a friend who seems quiet, instead of saying, "What's wrong?" which can feel too direct, you could say, "Is everything okay?" Or, "You seem a bit quiet today. Is something on your mind?" Repeat with me. Is everything okay? You seem a bit quiet today. Is something on your mind? These invite them to share, without pressure. If you want to politely offer help, without assuming they need it, you can say, "If you need a hand, just let me know." Or, "I'm here if you need anything." Let's practice. If you need a hand, just let me know. I'm here if you need anything. These keep the offer open and friendly. When you want to express excitement for plans you've made, instead of just saying, "I'm excited," you could say, "I've been looking forward to this all week," or, "I can't wait for it." Try them. I've been looking forward to this all week. I can't wait for it. These create a warmer, more personal atmosphere. If you want to thank someone for their time, you could say, "Thanks for taking the time to talk with me," or, "I appreciate you making the time for this." Repeat after me. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me. I appreciate you making the time for this. These show that you value their attention. When you want to express understanding in a deep way, instead of simply saying, "I know," you could say, "I completely understand how that feels." Or, "I've been there myself. I get it." Let's try them. I completely understand how that feels. I've been there myself. I get it. These make your empathy sound more real. Let's do a quick role play. I say, "I've been looking forward to this dinner all week." You respond with a matching phrase of excitement. Good. I say, "Thanks for meeting with me today." You respond with a warm thank you for their time. Nice. I say, "I'm here if you need anything." You respond in a way that accepts or appreciates the offer. Excellent. Every time you practice these in your speaking, you're building confidence, not just in your vocabulary, but in your ability to create connection with every sentence. When you want to compliment someone's appearance in a polite and friendly way, Instead of just saying, you look nice, you could say, you look great today, or that color really suits you. Repeat after me. You look great today. That color really suits you. These make the compliment more specific and genuine. If you want to acknowledge someone's effort on a task, you can say, you've put a lot of work into this, or I see you've worked really hard. Let's try them. You've put a lot of work into this. I can see you've worked really hard. These give recognition that feels personal and encouraging. When you want to ask someone about their weekend or recent time off, instead of just, how was it? You could say, did you have a good weekend? Or, how did you spend your day off? Repeat with me. Did you have a good weekend? How did you spend your day off? These open the door to a longer conversation. If you want to invite someone to share more details about something they've said, instead of, tell me more, you could say, I'd love to hear more about that. Or, that sounds interesting. What happened next? Let's practice. I'd love to hear more about that. That sounds interesting. What happened next? These make you sound genuinely engaged. When you want to express relief after something goes well, instead of just good, you could say, that's a weight off my shoulders. Or, I'm so glad that worked out. Try them. That's a weight off my shoulders. I'm so glad that worked out. These add emotion and personality to your reaction. If you want to make someone feel appreciated for simply being there, you could say, I'm glad you came, or, it's so good to see you here. Repeat after me. I'm glad you came. It's so good to see you here. These create a feeling of warmth and connection. When you want to close a friendly conversation, but promise to reconnect, you could say, let's catch up again soon, or I'll give you a call next week. Let's say them. Let's catch up again soon. I'll give you a call next week. These keep the connection alive. Now let's bring them into a short practice. I say, I just finished painting my living room. You respond with a phrase showing interest in more details. Good, I say. It's so good to see you here. You respond warmly. Nice, I say. That's a weight off my shoulders. You respond with understanding and agreement. Excellent. These little, natural-sounding sentences are what make everyday English flow. They take you beyond basic vocabulary into real connection and personality in your conversations. When you want to encourage someone who's feeling nervous, instead of only saying, you'll be fine, you could say, you've got this, or I believe in you. Repeat after me. You've got this. I believe in you. These phrases feel more personal and uplifting. If you want to express that something is not a problem, instead of just saying, it's okay, you can say, no worries at all, or it's completely fine, don't stress about it. Let's try them. No worries at all. It's completely fine, don't stress about it. These keep your tone friendly and understanding. When you're asking about someone's opinion on food, clothes, or any item, instead of, do you like it? You could say, what do you think of it? Or, does this work for you? Repeat with me. What do you think of it? Does this work for you? These sound more open and invite detail. If you want to acknowledge that something was unexpected, instead of really, you could say, that took me by surprise, or I didn't see that coming. Let's practice. That took me by surprise. I didn't see that coming. These make your reaction sound more expressive and natural. When you want to show interest in someone's opinion, instead of saying, tell me, you can say, I'd like to know your thoughts, or I'm interested in what you think. Try them. I'd like to know your thoughts. I'm interested in what you think. These are great for making people feel heard. If you want to thank someone for understanding your situation, instead of just thanks, you can say, thanks for understanding, or I really appreciate your patience. Repeat after me. Thanks for understanding. I really appreciate your patience. These add warmth and gratitude. When you're making a promise, instead of I promise, you can say, you have my word, or I'll make sure it happens. Let's say them. You have my word. I'll make sure it happens. These sound strong and trustworthy. Now let's do a quick role play. I say, I'm nervous about my presentation tomorrow. You respond with encouragement. Good, I say. Sorry for the delay. You respond with a phrase showing understanding. Nice, I say. I didn't see that coming. You respond in a way that continues the conversation. Excellent. Using phrases like these doesn't just make you sound more fluent, it also helps you build trust and connection with everyone you speak to. When you want to congratulate someone on an achievement, instead of only saying, well done, you could say, I'm so proud of you, or you deserve this success. Repeat after me. I'm so proud of you. You deserve this success. These make your congratulations more heartfelt and personal. If you want to check whether someone is comfortable instead of just, are you okay? You could say, is everything comfortable for you? Or, do you need anything to make you more comfortable? Let's try them. Is everything comfortable for you? Do you need anything to make you more comfortable? These show genuine care. When you want to politely ask if someone agrees, instead of, do you agree? You could say, would you agree with that? Or, does that make sense to you? Repeat with me. Would you agree with that? Does that make sense to you? These keep the tone open and non-confrontational. If you want to express happiness at seeing someone, instead of hi, you could say, it's great to see you, or I'm so glad you're here. Let's practice. It's great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. These make your greeting warm and inviting. When you're politely suggesting an idea, instead of let's do this, you could say, what if we tried this? Or, how about we give this a shot? Try them. What if we tried this? How about we give this a shot? These make your suggestions sound friendly and cooperative. If you want to express gratitude for an opportunity, you could say, I'm grateful for this chance, or thanks for giving me this opportunity. Repeat after me. I'm grateful for this chance. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. These are perfect in professional or personal situations. When you're expressing sympathy, instead of just, I'm sorry, you could say, I'm sorry to hear that, or that must be really difficult for you. Let's say them. I'm sorry to hear that. That must be really difficult for you. These phrases show deeper emotional connection. Now, let's do a short role play. I say, I got promoted at work. You respond with a heartfelt congratulation. Good. I say, would you agree with that point? You respond politely. Nice, I say. That must be really difficult for you. You respond with empathy in return. Excellent. Each time you use one of these phrases, you're not only improving your vocabulary, you're also improving the quality of your interactions. And that's what makes everyday English powerful. When you want to check in on how someone is feeling during an ongoing task, instead of just, you okay? You could say, how's it going for you so far? Or, is everything going smoothly? Repeat after me. How's it going for you so far? Is everything going smoothly? These sound supportive and attentive. If you want to acknowledge someone's kindness instead of, thanks, you can say, that was really thoughtful of you, or, you've been so kind, thank you. Let's try them. That was really thoughtful of you. You've been so kind, thank you. These give weight to your gratitude. When you want to express that you enjoyed a shared activity, instead of, that was nice, you could say, I really enjoyed our time together, or, that was so much fun, we should do it again. Repeat with me. I really enjoyed our time together. That was so much fun, we should do it again. These make the experience feel appreciated and valued. If you're offering encouragement after a small mistake, instead of, it's okay, you can say, don't worry, you're doing great. Or, mistakes happen, you've got this. Let's practice. Don't worry, you're doing great. Mistakes happen, you've got this. These help keep the mood positive. When you want to make plans in a friendly way, instead of, let's meet, you could say, let's plan something soon, or, we should set a date for that. Try them. Let's plan something soon. We should set a date for that. These sound more intentional and enthusiastic. If you want to give a warm goodbye instead of, bye, you can say, take care of yourself, or, have a great rest of your day. Repeat after me. Take care of yourself. Have a great rest of your day. These make your goodbye more memorable. Let's run through one last quick role play. I say, that was so much fun. We should do it again. You respond with a phrase showing agreement and excitement. Good, I say. You've been so kind, thank you. You respond warmly. Nice, I say. Take care of yourself. You respond with a goodbye phrase that feels friendly and genuine. Excellent. The truth is, learning 101 everyday phrases is not just about memorizing words, it's about building a way of speaking that feels natural, warm, and engaging. The more you practice these phrases in real conversations, the more confident you'll feel. Soon, you won't even need to think about them. They'll simply become part of who you are when you speak English. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you've enjoyed learning these phrases and practicing them aloud. Remember, the key to fluency is not speed, it's consistency. Use these phrases every day, mix them into your chats, and watch your English grow stronger and more natural. If you found today's session helpful, I'd love for you to join me again for more English lessons. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new video, and turn on the notifications so you're always ready to practice with me. Until next time, take care, keep practicing, and speak with confidence. See you soon.